Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm a little nervous today because I want to do a video to kind of bring your awareness to what I call attentional blindness. Out in the research world, there's many researchers like to refer to what I'm going to talk about today as inattentional blindness, but I like attentional blindness because I think it's easier to really understand what we're talking about. And as an attention coach, fascinated with attention, who coaches those with ADHD, one thing that I know is you can't pay attention to everything at one time. The world is overwhelming. And so as a result, your brain begins to take shortcuts, kind of skips through some things. It makes some assumptions, and it can be really tricky for you because over a period of time, you actually miss things. And the thing about attention is you miss far more in a day than you actually kind of get right. But you don't notice it because you're not looking for what you're missed. You're just looking for proof that you got it right. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. So I want to do a couple exercises right now to kind of see if I can help you understand attentional blindness and maybe kind of get stuck in it. So our first exercise is I want you to take your hand and I want you to take your finger and index together and I want your fingers up so it looks like a chicken, all right? And what I want you to do is I want you to take this and put it on your cheek. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to notice, is your hand actually on your cheek or is it on your chin? For most, they're going to copy and mimic what I'm doing. I said put it on your cheek, not on your chin. That's a situation where you made an assumption and you were blind. You weren't paying attention to kind of what was going on. Another thing I'd like to do is, if you can, go out and find a pen, something like this. Take it, roll it in your hands like this, and then I want you to take it and grip it with your hand, and I want you to put it out, and I want you to try to drop it. Now, when I do this, a lot of times people just end up going like that. But if you notice what I said, I didn't say drop it, I said try to drop it. Again, it's a little bit of a shortcut here. Your mind just kind of runs through that a little bit and kind of creates a little bit of a problem. If you go to out on the internet and look up Brain Games, which is put on by the Learning Channel, the first 2 seasons had a lot of stuff that they covered with regard to brain awareness and how it worked. When I watch those shows, I think of it in terms of attention, not so much how the brain works. And it's interesting because if you look at it from an attention perspective, you'll find lots of games, lots of things that they do where people miss things. And they're blind to something that could be as blind as something that is blatantly obvious. One of the things I'd like to encourage you to do, if you go to YouTube and you type in awareness test, at the top there'll be a video with 4 people in white shirts and 4 people in black shirts, and watch the video. It's about 1 minute and 10 seconds long, and it's a knockoff of Dan Simon's Invisible Gorilla thing. And what he does is he studies visual perception, but what my point is when you watch that video is you'll notice they're going to ask you something and you might get it right, but there's going to be something else that's blatantly obvious that you completely miss. And that's what I call attentional blindness. More specifically, is a lot of times when you're using narrow attention, which is like texting or doing what they ask you to do in this video, you're focused in on this one thing. And there's other kinds of attention, like scanning attention, which you would use when you drive. Interestingly, you can't use scanning attention and narrow attention at the same time. Texting while driving, that's actually dangerous. And so when you begin to understand these concepts a little bit, you can begin to realize how your narrow attention helps you see things that you're looking for, and you miss things that are completely obvious. So why is that important? Because I find in coaching that usually if you're coming to me, you've been focused on all the obvious solutions. And if they would have worked, they would have worked by now. But the fact of the matter is they're not. So how do you find those solutions that are not so obvious, that actually, after you find them, will become obvious? And if you search in YouTube Attention Talk Video and obvious solutions, you're going to find several videos that we've done with people with outlandish solutions that work very well for them, maybe not for others. But the point really is that sometimes if you're reading the book or watching the webinar or doing that, you spend too much time trying to be like somebody else as opposed to just kind of observing yourself. So this video has been about attentional blindness. It is relatively complex to do because I have to put you in an experience to kind of see it. But if you are struggling with issues with regard to attention or ADHD, it's almost kind of let go of what you think things should be and daydream, because you might be surprised. You might find obvious solutions that are not so obvious. And actually, as a coach, that's what I do. My job is to help you find what is blatantly obvious that works that you never knew. So anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this video. We hope we've given you pause to think maybe you go, go check out that YouTube video, awareness test, and maybe or brain games. For us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. If you want to learn more about me, go to digcoaching.com. With that, we hope you've enjoyed the show.